Am I the for telling my brother-in-law to get over himself and to quit holding a 10-year-old grudge? My brother-in-law, married to my sister, is a general contractor. About 10 years ago, my dad and brother was building a deck at my parents' home. They asked my brother-in-law if they could borrow his skid loader, but he said no. They prepared the ground as best as they could without the skid loader, but got to the point they couldn't go on without it. They went to my sister's house to ask again, but found out brother-in-law went out of town. They talked my sister into letting them borrow it, and so she took them down to his construction lot and they hooked it up to Dad's truck. This next part I'm not sure of since I don't know much about towing, but from what I was told, Dad's truck wasn't big enough or powerful enough to tow the skid loader on the dump trailer, so he lost control and wrecked. The truck trailer and skid load was totaled. The insurance was barely enough to cover the medical costs and the truck. There was none left over to cover brother-in-law's stuff. When he got back to town, he exploded. He threatened to sue and things went downhill from there. My parents are not rich and he wouldn't have gotten anything, so in the end, Sis talked him into letting it go. However, from that day on, he wouldn't have anything to do with our family. He doesn't come for birthdays, holidays, nothing at all. Next month is our parents' 50th anniversary and we're planning a big family gathering to celebrate. We're also chipping in to send our parents on a cruise to Mexico because they've never been out of the country. I spoke to Sis about it the other day and she said she's coming with the kids, but brother-in-law is not coming. I was fine with that, but when we were discussing their portion of the cruise money, I heard him yelling in the background to deduct their portion from the cost of the skid loader and dump trailer. That pissed me off.
He said, I ain't letting this go.
That pissed me off. So after the call with my sis, I called brother-in-law and told him to get over himself. I told him that Dad and bro made a mistake, but that was 10 years ago and he needs to let it go. He said he'll let it go when they give him the money he lost. I told him he's an for holding on to a grudge and putting money in the way of family relationship. Sis called me a few minutes ago and said they're not coming and that I was out of line. We argued for a bit and that's where it stands. I don't think I'm wrong for telling him to let go of the past, but they're not coming to the anniversary party. So now, I'm not sure. Answers to your questions. Let's get something straight. My dad and brother are not bad people. They're good people who made a mistake. They couldn't pay back brother-in-law because he wanted almost $70,000. And again, we're not rich. Dad had to buy another truck because he needed it to go to work. On the other hand, brother-in-law had 3 sets of skid loaders and dump trailers on his lot that day, so he could take the financial hit while my parents would be homeless. Brother-in-law and sis are way better off than the rest of us, so while I understand your reasoning of paying brother-in-law back, he doesn't need it. The cruise to Mexico isn't some millionaire trip. The total cost is about $3,000 and it will take over 20 people to pay for that. Again, we're not rich. We can barely cover $3,000 spread out over 20 people, so there's no way we can pay $70,000.
Do you know what? You might not be able to pay 70,000, but you can contribute something. But the attitude that and the mindset that these people have, and you tend to find that quite a lot of people who aren't well off, anybody that is doing better than them, they see as, oh, you're okay. It doesn't matter. It's not much of a hit. You won't suffer so much as I would. But the principle is you took his thing without permission. Like, the person that's really in the wrong is actually the sister. I'm not going to lie. You don't give somebody permission to use somebody else's stuff when it's not yours.
Bro, as Marie was reading it, my chest was getting hot. I'm the kind of person, I side with the brother-in-law. I will never even talk to you, bro.
I'll never let it go.
Do you know what it is?
Never.
Yeah? There's a lot of things going on in this story.
Taking it to my grave,
do you know what it is? It's entitlement. And do you know that entitlement is being hidden behind family? Because even in that, they said, oh no, you're putting money before family. Do you know what? It's so easy for you to say, oh, it's only money when you don't have it. My wife is demanding I stop giving money to my ex. I'll start by saying that the money I give my ex is for my kids, 11, 13 and 16. I don't pay a fixed amount of child support every month, but I support my kids. My ex and I worked out a personal arrangement, had lawyers review it, then filed it with the court. So yes, our agreement is legal. At the end of each month, my ex and I meet to discuss the upcoming month's expenses. Rent, food, school costs, health insurance, extracurricular, whatever the kids need. We sit down and go over it. Some months the kids need more, some months less. I also put aside each month for emergencies. For example, my ex broke her leg. I covered for her while she was off work. Or when her mother passed away and she couldn't afford to fly herself and the kids to her hometown, I paid for the kids' travel. My ex also goes extra mile for me. When my parts car was totaled by joyriders, she lent me hers until I could replace mine. During the pandemic, when my wife and I had to be isolated because we had COVID, my ex did our grocery shopping and bought over home-cooked meals for both of us. This is the type of co-parenting relationship we have, and I'm not willing to change it. It works for us. Most importantly, it works for our kids. My wife has 2 kids, 16 and 18, and her relationship with their dad is toxic. They can't be in the same room without fighting. Honestly, it's as much her fault as his. They both blame each other for the end of the relationship, and neither's willing to set that aside for the kids. It's better for everyone when they avoid contact. Early in our relationship, my wife tried to get me involved in her co-parenting conflict. I told her I wouldn't do that. Her kids love their dad as much as they love their mum, and I wasn't going to become an enemy to a man I didn't even know. Now that I do know him, I can say he's a good guy. The issue with the money I give my ex started earlier this year. My wife's ex lost his job. He has a new one, but it pays less. His child support has reduced accordingly and reduced again when the eldest turned 18. I never asked how much he paid or what my wife did with the child support. That was between her and her ex, and just as my arrangement is between me and mine. As long as the kids were taken care of, and they always were. I didn't ask questions. My wife never asked me to cover anything beyond what I already paid for as the head of the household, so I figured everything was fine. But now she says she doesn't have enough. Not just for the kids. She's saying she can't afford her hair appointments, spa days, insurance, phone bill, gas. She wants me to cover her. Here's the thing. I have a set income, and every dollar is accounted for. I pay for my kids, I pay for my mortgage, I pay for my bills, I keep the fridge and cupboard stocked, I pay all the insurance, I cover the necessities, and after all of that, there's not much left for savings. But now my wife wants what's left and wants me to cut back on what I give my ex. What I don't understand is, where is all her money going? She works part-time. She still receives child support for one child. She contributes nothing to the household unless we're counting the occasional takeout meal once or twice a month. So, where is her money? We've been fighting for months about money. I see her demand that I cut back support as taken away from my kids. She used to have a great relationship with them. Now she treats them like they're obstacles keeping her from what she thinks she deserves. I've told her over and over I'm not going to let my kids go without so she can get her nails done. Our last argument ended with her telling me that my attitude needs to change, that I need to start putting her first or she'll reconsider staying in this marriage. In anger, I told her to call her lawyer after she moves off my house. Am I wrong here? Am I the...
She absolutely needs to go. No way. I really don't like women that want men to take away from their kids. He's got a brilliant relationship with his ex. It's caring, and she also benefits from it too. When she had COVID, the ex-wife cooked for both of them
and got groceries for them.
Their arrangement is built on love for the kids. How co-parenting should be. It might not be what it looks like for everyone else, but it works for them. Saying to someone, "Nah, I need my nails done, so you should cut back on your kids," is a very wild statement. I need people to listen to what they say out loud. That's very crazy. And you know what? If you're going to threaten, be ready to go through with it. Call your lawyer and start working full time.